Of course, like, I'm a homer. I'm not going to ignore that.
What do they see in this guy? This guy sucks.
Prepare yourself for the Raptors Report podcast with your hosts, Julian and Steve.
Hello and welcome, Raptors fans, to the Raptors Report podcast. I'm your host, Julian. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I am great. It is Monday, January the 26th. The league is slowly moving towards the All-Star game and the trade deadline. And we have all of the goodies for you. We're going to be talking about the trade deadline. We're going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors because they are winning a lot of games recently. 4-game win streak. They just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to get into all of that. Break down what we've seen, what we like. We are going to be talking about Emmanuel Quickley. We are going to be talking about Grady Dick, Mamu, CMB, lots of stuff around the team, and obviously breaking down all of the trade rumors that we have heard or seen recently since we last chatted or talked or potted or whatever. Steve, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. You know, the Raptors did us a favor and just absolutely killed it on this road trip and gave us something nice to talk about. You know, I think last week we were preparing for the worst.
Oh, yeah.
A week full of 10 p.m. games, tough West Coast road trip. It's like, all right, well, what's next week going to be like? They absolutely killed it.
No doubt. That was one of the most satisfying stretches of the season because, as you said, like expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
I think we were like, I said something like, I'd be okay with 2. Hopefully they get 3. Of course, they go 4-1. Yeah. And it didn't look like it was shaping up that way because the first game against the Lakers, that was horrible.
Yeah.
That was like the worst game of the season or one of the worst games of the season. Raptors couldn't shoot. They were playing against, the Wine brothers in LeBron and Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
But then they put it together. That 4-1 stretch, the 4-game stretch where they are still on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah.
The quality just seemed to improve every night. The first one was incredible. Obviously, you had the Quickley performance, the 40, Scotty Barnes with the defensive masterclass. So Scotty Barnes' defense on this trip has been
insane.
Unreal, like crazy good, like some of the best defense I've ever seen in a Raptors jersey. And when you watch Scotty Barnes, like we're getting off track already. We're supposed to be talking about the, the West Coast road trip. But I want to go on a tangent here because like the best defense I've ever seen man-to-man is Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. Like the guy is in the conversation of the best perimeter defenders ever.
Yeah. And
we got a prime season of that. That was like when he got his sort of hooks into you, when he got his clamp on you, it was scary. But he's a different type of defender than Scotty Barnes is. Scotty Barnes is like a help defender.
Yeah, he's a playmaking defender,
Exactly,
like he's the loud game-changing moments versus the, stick him on that star player, which they'll still do, but not to the same effect as somebody like Kawhi.
Yeah. But he's making those plays like under the basket, help defense. Whew. Amazing. And just the whole team performance, I think I don't want to just lay it at the feet of Scotty Barnes because he did struggle on offense a couple of the games, but it was like a team effort. And Brandon Ingram struggled last night. The only person who didn't struggle was Emmanuel Quickley. He was great in all 4 of those games, but it was people taking turns. Mamu looked amazing certain nights. Last night, he only scored, I think, 10 points. It was still fine, but it wasn't as good as some of the other stuff that he's been doing. But like, it seemed like every player had their moment in the sun. And it wasn't just one guy doing everything. This was probably one of the best displays of team basketball that I've seen all season. There's almost like no whipping boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even in wins,
Yeah.
even in wins, there's always somebody who everybody is down on. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe these. But I mean, everybody
Yeah.
has gotten to eat here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is what it feels like, right? Like you see other teams like the Celtics, the Thunder, whatever, their next man up, right? It's like, oh, they're missing this guy, but then this guy cooks. Like we have missed that for years since the bench mob kind of stuff, right? It's like, where is that going to come from? But it came from a different person every game, and it came from like just everybody. Like we mentioned, we're going to talk about it. Grady coming alive a bit, and Mamu doing his thing, and it's like these are the contributions that you need to float a bad Scotty shooting a night or a bad Ingram shooting night, right? And as you're integrating RJ back into the fold, as he's getting back used to being out on the floor, right? It's like it's really nice to have that kind of versatility from your lineups, because as we saw, Darko was throwing out some pretty crazy lineups, especially last night, and it wasn't a problem. I think Darko's coaching over this last, because I would say even like last night, I'd say he outcoached Agno in a lot of moments of that game, right?
I wouldn't argue with that. I think the game plan was executed perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they were relying a lot on. Why don't we talk about? We'll just switch to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I kind of lost my train of thought there. No, I've got it. I've captured it. The double teams that they were throwing at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that changed the game.
Yeah,
that was such an effective defensive strategy, and of course, it relied on the Oklahoma City Thunder missing their shots, but the timings of the double teams and who they were peeling off of, and who was the helper, and all of that kind of stuff, that made that tick. And I just thought, I thought the lineups looked good. There are so many positives moving forward. And I think that like one of the big things that we had problems with him last year before that was execution in the clutch and making the correct play when he was coaching. Like a lot of the time his strategy, his overall strategy is very good. I think we've both sung his praises about that. What we have sort of disliked a little bit was his inability to make like tactical decisions on the fly. Yeah. And I think that he had just a really good game plan, and his out of bounds plays.
They really are
great. They're just great. He is a really good coach in that regard too. So wow, what a display over this past 4 games. But we're going to talk about best games of the season, and last night has got to be one of, if not the best. Like the quality of the game. Like I had more fun with a couple of other games. Like I think there were some like huge moments. Last night had a bunch of huge moments, don't get me wrong, but there were like a lot of other games. We'll go over those. But this game, I think, was one of the best games of the season because of the gravitas of it.
Yes.
Like how important it is in the moment, and like the headline and the stuff you can write on Twitter or on social media.
Exactly.
The Raptors went into the champs' house and gave them back-to-back home losses. I mean, they weren't responsible for the first half of the back-to-back, but the second one, they did something that they haven't given up since like 2023, which is back-to-back losses at home during the regular season. So
and they dealt them their 10th loss of the season, so they're not going to win the rest of the games and match the Golden State 73-9 team. That can't happen anymore. No. Yeah, no, it's like exactly the gravity of the beating this team that is a good team. And we've been like, a lot of people have been talking down on the Raptors, being like, well, they're not beating a good team, they're not whatever. And it's like, okay, well, now you beat a good team who had some injuries, of course, but they're still a super good team with like, they're stacked, right? So they still have the guy who's leading the DPOI conversation and the MVP. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and they have the thing about Oklahoma City is that they are one of the deepest teams in the whole league.
Yeah.
The wings that they can roll off of their bench, and the like, I'm not going to say they're stars, but some of these guys are like playable rotation. Like Jalen Williams, not the star Jalen Williams, but the big Jalen Williams. He's pretty good. Like they've got a lot of and I mean Lou Dort. They don't have Caruso. Oh, so they've got the other guy.
That's like, okay,
Lou Dort.
Well, you got Aaron Wiggins coming off the bench. You
Yeah,
got
exactly.
Isaiah Joe coming in to hit shots.
Yeah.
They're a deep stack team who, like, they even got positive contributions from Usman Jang,
Yeah, I
who
know. Yeah,
they've
he
been trying
played.
to work. Yeah. So their player development is incredible for one, and their team is, they're
It
very
helps when
deep.
you have every draft pick, though.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
get
Right.
you get to pick the cream of the crop. But yeah, I agree with you. They're a very good development team.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about, like, is this the best win of the season?
To-
So we have some candidates here, and I'd be interested if you guys, if you're watching this right now, you can respond in the chat, or if you're listening afterwards, just, leave a comment. So here are some of the candidates. So number one is we'll go with the first game of the season. This is in no particular order. First game of the season, blowout victory against the Hawks. And one of the reasons that one was so sweet was because the Hawks, through the whole offseason, people were putting them in the playoffs. People were saying, ooh, this is like a top 4, top 5 team. They're going to have a lot of success. Like, they've revamped the offense, and they've got Trae Young. They've got Porzingis to help them in the middle. This is like a fringe contender kind of thing. Raptors go into their building, take care of business, and, blow them out. So that, number one. Number two was the second game against the Cavs during that win streak, which was a wire-to-wire blowout where they just completely dominated them. And I think that one, like, I think every fan knows what I'm talking about, where if it's your team, you want them to blow the other team out. You don't want an exciting game. So for me, like a huge fan of the Raptors, I was just like, oh, just all night long. Cause I think Scotty Barnes also really outplayed Mobley. I think he had like almost 30 points or something. Mobley was awful. So that was also quite good. Oh, I just read it. This may be my candidate for game of the season. I might go with the Golden State overtime win. That one was so good. And the Scotty ridiculous stat line, the fact that they managed to come back and beat Draymond Green, who was talking so much, like he was going nuts out there, and he's one of my least favorite players. So they were able to shove it right in his face. I love that. Right. We talked about this before. The Ingram game winner against the Pacers, where they came from behind and managed to steal one against the Pacers, even though this is like an opposite of the game in OKC, where it's like you're like, oh my God, they just beat the best team in the league in their building. The Toronto Raptors beat the worst team in the league in the Raptors building. So it's like reverse. But the circumstances that happened where he hit the 3-point shot, I think right after, Jakob Poeltl was still playing in that game, right? Because he got the block on Pascal. And then Ingram hit the game winner. That one was awesome just because of the end, and they were able to come back. Maybe not the game of the season, but
that was for the 9th win in a row, right?
Could be. I can't quite remember.
I think it extended the winning streak to 9, so it was like an extra feel good because it was like, we are just rolling, and you're rolling, like you're climbing up the standings.
It was,
and so it was like the vibes from that were all time high, and it was like,
and everybody's like, all right, we got Charlotte next. Oh man, it's gonna
here
be
comes number 10, Con Knippel, corner 3.
No, that didn't happen. That one was really good though. And this is Steve. He remembered this one, and this is a good one. Speaking of the Hornets, one of the games that kind of put the scare into every Raptors fan was the Hornets have played the Raptors really well this season, but the double block game winner versus the Hornets, where Scotty went wild and got that game-saving block. There was a block right before that by Ingram with
my heart rate was going crazy for that game. I was so pumped at the end of that. That was just it was super fun. And again, it's like, oh, it's the Hornets, but the Hornets are looking like an absolute juggernaut. They
Don't
were
they have
up
a
by
positive net rating.
Yeah, and they were up by like 50 on the Sixers today.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. They blew them out.
Yeah, I like watching them. They were my sleeper team before the season started, so I'm feeling kind of validated here. But the game, there was also that game. I don't want to let this go by without recognizing that was the game where Brandon Ingram posterized Kalkbrenner.
Yeah.
He yammed it on him. That was like one of the best dunks I've seen, period, out of a Raptor. I'm not even joking. Like that was, in the top 10 of Raptors poster dunks.
And when Ingram does something like that, it feels better too, because you're like, especially early in the season, you're like, look at his ankle. He is doing awesome. He is like, he's getting his bounce back. Like there's layers to it. So yeah, I agree. That was a pretty cool moment.
So those are the candidates. If you can think of like, one of the other games. Oh, the IQ game winner. Yeah, of course. Yeah. The IQ game winner. That one was a huge one. It was also a come from behind victory. He hit the go, like they were behind and he hit the 3 to win the game. That was a sick one too. That's a good one.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think I would probably take last night's game. Just in the way that they won it, was heart rate was going crazy. Obviously, it would have been nice if Shed hit his free throws and then it would have been put to bed sooner, but it required an extra amount of get it done.
Heroics.
And Scotty got the tip out, which for the third time in the game, basically he won a 50-50 ball because he had to do those jump balls and he won it. They made him jump again and he won it again. And it's like, this dude is 6'8" and he is elevating to this consistently. And that block against Chet, when you have 5 fouls against you and you're playing these guys straight up and you elevate and get that block.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the kind of stuff that starts to turn people. Yeah.
The whole thing about like that will be a moment for people when you talk about DPOY, because he's heads up against the DPOY candidate that's ahead of him.
Yeah.
How can you not think about that? Like if you put it between those two guys, clutch sort of game moment.
That's
where they're playing against each other.
That's what helped Scotty with the Rookie of the Year stuff. Some performances against Evan Mobley in that season. It's like when you see them head to head, that matters, right? So yeah, I mean, and it got people talking. I've seen consistently. I saw like Kevin O'Connor. I saw Sam Vecini. A lot of guys are talking more and more about Scotty's DPOY case, which he deserves to be talked about for.
Absolutely. I think that was a monumental game.
Yeah.
And why don't we go from that? Like, I know it's not exactly in order, but why don't we talk about a guy who's really good in that game and really good over the course of over the road trip. And that is Emmanuel Quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, like I released a video that said that the Raptors need a point guard upgrade. I think directly before the 40-point game, and a bunch of people were in my comments and being blown away. Like, can you give me a break, please? The guy had been turbo ass for like 2 months straight. And like if you've been watching the show and you've been listening to my thing before the season started, I'm like, this guy could be like really important for the Raptors.
Yeah. You've been a Quickly defender.
I've been a Quickly defender.
Yeah.
And so I was finally coming to terms with reality where I'm like, okay, fine. He's not, there's a problem here, his contract, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as it's like some kind of biblical punishment, like as soon as my faith lapsed, I get immediately thrown to the mat and
he puts up one of the most efficient 40-point games ever. He gets, his name next to Wilt Chamberlain in something. And it's like, yeah, of course. Right.
Oh yeah, IQ. We could talk about that too. So the broadcast actually mentioned this prior to the game. They highlighted the pairing between the two of them, and I think Kirthika or another Raptors social media person tweeted out that the two of them combined have the highest net rating on the team over the past month or something. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe just all time because they just started playing them together recently. And it kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like if the broadcast was right on when they said, Quickly isn't a traditional point guard. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be the best at running your offense, but he is a really good scorer. And, he can make enough plays where it's not like you're with a ball hog or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he can distribute enough. I think there's something to that. What do you think?
I think totally. Like you get Jamal's playmaking next to him, and you get a secondary ball handler next to him that he doesn't feel like quickly doesn't feel like he has to maybe dominate the ball and make decisions as much because Jamal is trustworthy with the ball. You get a guy who can generate a paint touch, which Jamal can, which allows quickly to, hang around the perimeter and come off screens and stuff, which is excellent for him. And they just have like a really good chemistry about it. They're able to find each other. They're able to not be in each other's way, which is important for a guard pairing. And, he gets a little bit insulated defensively by having a good help defender. And quickly is I think a decent help defender. He's pretty quick. He's active. He fights around screens well and stuff.
Yeah.
It's when he gets fully on an island where he can give too much space and shit. But having Shed there to, hit a double quicker and stuff like that, it makes that a lot more feasible. And it's a really nice pairing. And I guess it's another feather in Darko's cap finding that working, because this two smaller guards together, right? A lot of coaches are afraid to do that.
Yeah. And I think that I don't want to I want to give Darko credit, but also there's broken clock thing where, and it's not to say that Darko's a broken clock, but he's just observant enough to notice when it's working. You know what I mean? Because eventually two players are going to play next to each other on the floor at a certain time. And eventually you're going to figure out that those two players actually work pretty well together. And he was smart enough to recognize, he's like, okay, well, conceptually it makes sense because this guy is more of a distributor. The other guy's more of a scorer. I think that's true, but I also think that it is kind of underselling quickly a little bit, because what I've seen from him, and I've been watching game tape after the fact and going over what he's doing, he was playing badly earlier and now he's not playing badly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've seen this before from him, and I attributed it to playing with Jakob Poeltl, where he's in his comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty big ask to take a guy out of his comfort zone, get him to learn on the fly, get him to be, one of the team's best players, most highly salaried players, and throw him into the fire and say, figure it out, get it done. And it didn't work for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just he's looked good when Shed's not on the floor, right?
For sure.
His decision-making has improved. His shooting obviously has gotten better, but also the scoring, without a screen, I feel man, he is him getting into the paint with that floater. The floater has looked awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying it looks ugly. It's it's all about it going in. It doesn't matter how flat or curved it is, but he gets into the paint and he makes that shot more often than not. I just think his overall play has elevated. His defense has looked way better.
Yep.
They're a good team when he is on the floor. And that was true even before, when I think everybody was kind of sick of him. Yeah. The advanced stats were saying this guy is pretty good. He's actually pretty good. So it's nice to have the eye test match the impact stats, because, I felt like I was going crazy there for a little bit.
Yeah. And he's already improved over one of his biggest issues that he had last year, which is picking up his dribble too soon.
Yeah.
He really had that problem last year when he'd get inside the arc, he'd get a bit of pressure on his hands and he'd pick up his dribble, and he was a small guy, right? So he'd get swarmed so quick, and then he'd make a bad decision. And he's gotten so much better at that, at keeping a live dribble. There was a time last night where he touched the paint, dribbled back out. There was nothing there. He brought it back out, reset, all good, right? And he kept the offense flowing, and it wasn't like a ball stopping move. So I think huge credit to that. That is a part of his game. See, the thing is, I track pretty heavily, because I get bored in the summer, what players are doing in the summer and their workouts and stuff. And Quickly, by far, seems like he's working the hardest. He is going full speed at every one of these workouts that he's at, and I think it shows. I think there have been significant upgrades to parts of his game that were flaws. So that's really great to see going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I said on the show, the video that I did earlier today, where I can live with a guy who's inconsistent and is some nights, as long as the range is really good to below average. I don't want really good and dog water. right?
Yeah, because that's where it loses you a game or wins you a game, and
Yeah.
like that kind of variance is pretty damaging. Yeah.
If that happens like once a month, sure. But the problem with Quickly, especially before this road trip, was that you would be getting one of those games every other night.
Mm-hmm.
And the games where he had like an okay game, like the variance was just like the band of games that he was having were like similar, but like below average. Like it was just like, you can't win with this guy. But if it's up and down and it's not consistently down, just like bad.
Yeah.
I can live with that. I can deal with it. I mean, Fred VanVleet, I feel like was a similar type of player.
Mhm.
I think he's, probably better than Emmanuel Quickly, but he was similar in that he would be a hero one week, and then the other week he'd be the whipping boy of the team because he just shot 10 bricks in a row or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it all averaged out to like a good player. And so I think Quickly is the exact same. And I also think that Raptors fans, I've told you this theory before, but I'll repeat it again. They don't like shoot first point guards.
Yep.
It's against the Canadian ethos that if you have the ball in your hands, you have to share. You can't be the one shooting the shots. But maybe that explains why people are a little bit more harsh on him.
Yeah.
But we got to shut this guy out.
And my theory before too is that once you have like Kyle Lowry, everybody else gets measured against it as, they're not a good point guard, because we had a guy who is like just a perfect point guard that we could have had for a long time. So we've seen like apex kind of two-way guard play, and it's hard to measure stuff up against it. So I feel like we've always been pretty harsh on point guards because they're in the shadow of that, right?
It's true. But even him, when he was started out, people didn't like him because he shot the ball too much. So
and
he was in the shadow of Jose Calderon, who like shot the ball like 5 times a game or something like that. Shout out to my boy Jose. Okay. Well, I mean, if we're in the redemption zone, like we got to bring this guy up here. Grady Dick, is he unbusting himself? I think that is an interesting way of putting it, but
I think it's the only way we can put it.
Exactly, the only way you can put it. Also, the funniest way. He has looked really good. He's looked really good this road trip, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, looked really good on defense, and in that OKC game, he was playing good defense. He was playing good defense in that. Which was it? The Portland game that he had the steal into the wraparound behind the back layup in transition.
Was that Portland or was that LA?
I think it was Portland.
Okay, but that was beautiful. That was
an amazing move. I don't care who it came against. It was he had probably one of the highlights of his career, like probably top 5 in his career. Stole the ball, ran up the court being like heavily guarded, wrapped around, and then laid it up and in while under duress. Like that was
falling like bucket.
sick.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
And to top it off, like his shooting has not been abysmal.
Yeah.
Like that was the problem with him, was that like he would do all this other stuff and he'd be like, okay, that's great, but where's the beef?
Yeah. He hit an above the break 3. And that was like manna from heaven. I was like,
I know
it hit. We did it. No, and he's averaged like 10 point per game over the last 3 games. He's giving you meaningful bench minutes, and like even that 5 guard lineup we ran where he was essentially kind of the center. He competed well, and he got a little bit of rim defense going on. It was great to see. And I looked into before the Raptors, I think we're like top 4 in deflections. Per
he
game,
is
right?
Yeah.
He's great on the deflections. We have like 11 players on the roster averaging over 3 deflections per 36, which is like a decent mark to kind of be at. And Grady was at like 3.7. He's getting handsy. He's knocking away a lot of balls, and that's the kind of defense he has to be, where it's like help defense, clamping on a guy's hands instead of getting stuck on an island, because that'll always be
Yes.
what they're trying to get out of him. Like, opponents hunt that, right?
Yeah, for sure. He has to play the way he does in order. And I actually got into a kind of an internet argument with one of the more prominent members of the Raptors media. And that was my theory. I said, I think that he should be playing with his hands more.
Mhm.
He should be playing sort of riskier defense, trying to create turnovers and deflections, because his foot speed's not good.
Yeah.
And you got to make an impact somehow. I think that I said, like, crank up the variance, let him kind of freelance and play team defense and play with his hands. And they were like, no, I think he should just play more traditionally. I just disagree. And so to that unnamed person, haha, like, who cares? It doesn't matter.
But I mean, we saw that with Gary Trent Jr., where he looked like a really good defender for a year, where he was like second or third in steals because he was gambling. And it was like, that's fine. You can insulate the gambling. You can't insulate somebody playing too safe and getting hunted, right?
Yeah,
like, you don't want
blast in one-on-one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was the scheme that they play when he's on the floor is very funny to watch. And it like screws with teams that have not seen it, where it's literally just a hard double/switch.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you have him in isolation, he'll just run to the other guy, to another guy, and then somebody will just run and pick up his guy.
Yeah.
If it's just a really bad matchup, they're just like, even if it's in isolation and it's not like a pick and roll, they will just hard switch the thing, and teams don't know how to play against that.
Yeah.
It's very funny. And like, I mean, you have to go to the coaching staff and be like, great job, man.
Yeah.
You've somehow done this, like, what seemed impossible.
Exactly. There was a basketball index stat that was like, here are the bottom 5 players in matchup difficulty, and Grady was the lowest in matchup difficulty. And I was like, so the Raptors have a top 5 defense, and their worst defender is guarding the worst opponents possible. Yeah. Genius. That is amazing coaching. You figured out how to put your seemingly weakest defender on the weakest player possible, and you're having a lot of success with it. And now he's proving to be not a useless defender because he's
a team defender. Yeah, he can play help defense.
Yeah.
And he's always there. Like, he times his doubles really well. Like, he's sneaky, where he's like, okay, I use the white guy word, sneaky.
Sneaky,
but
athletic.
He stands like in a surreptitiously in a place where they might not notice him, and then he like springs a trap on players. Like, he's very good at that kind of stuff. And then his hands are great. Like, he has very good hand-eye coordination. You can smack balls loose, dig balls out, that kind of stuff. So listen, the guy, like, even if you don't think he's going to be an NBA player, which I understand because of the 3-point shooting, he is giving it a go.
Yep.
He is giving it his good old college try. He is really, this is not a guy who is going quietly into the night. He is tooth and claw trying to stick in the NBA no matter what. So got to give this guy some props.
And I highlighted Oblonsky's comment here because I wouldn't say like he's one of the better rebounders, but in terms of getting in there and getting taps and everything, he's excellent at crashing the glass. He's able to like worm his body in there and not get nailed on box outs and get his hand involved, right? So like big kudos for that too, because it's, again, that's hustle, that's drive, that's like he'll fly in there. Like he's
got good vertical, like that's not his. He's athletic in the vertical and straightforward.
Yeah,
like he can run quickly and he can jump quite high.
Yeah, so he can do windmill dunks and everything. Like he's got bounce. Yeah,
it's just the lateral foot speed. But yeah, he has been a lot better, and I feel like they get him guys that he can guard, because every time he's on the perimeter and they let him guard him, the player, it's that matchup difficulty that you're talking about. They've isolated the one person on the team that doesn't have a dribble game, and then like if they do have one and they can't shoot, they just say play off of them, like give them the cushion. And you can see like if you let him play with like a 5-foot cushion or on a player, he's good enough now and strong enough now that he can absorb the contact and they're not going to get right past him. So keep it up, but you got to make those shots. You got to make those shots. Let's think here. We could talk Mamu. What do you think?
Yeah.
We'll talk Mamu.
Yeah.
Mamu is going to be expensive.
Yeah. I mean, you have to clear the gap space for him. He has been so good and fit so well.
Yeah.
And I mean, what kind of tree planting contract can you give this guy to keep him around? Because like
RJ's got to get his boy hooked up with some, what's the shawarma place?
Well, Osmos.
Yeah. Osmos kickbacks, under the table stuff. I mean, this guy has been, now, if you don't count Jose Calderon or Fred VanVleet, he's the best free agent signing this team has ever made. And it's just not close. Like that sounds like I'm making a mistake. If you've never looked into it, you could be like, hell no, there's got to be somebody better than this guy, even though he's a legit good player. But no, the bar is so low. I think that after that, it might even be like Dennis Schroeder.
It would be Schroeder for sure, because it's not DeMarre Carroll. It's not it's not Bo Cruz. It's not, he's clearing it. And like, he has come in and spot started whenever need be.
Oh yeah.
And being an undersized 5, right? And like this over this road trip, right? Over the last, I think 3 or 5 games, 18 points per game, averaging 30 minutes a game, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists. That is better production than you get from Yak a lot of nights. Not saying it's a better center play, but that's excellent production. And he gives other teams like such an issue because they're just not prepared for him compared to the players they game plan. Yes.
Against Klingon, it was like Klingon had the Raptors in hell on the glass.
Big boy.
On the offensive rebounds, but Mamu was exploiting him.
Yeah.
He can't come out and guard him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, like if he did come out and guard him, Mamu can get right past that guy.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that he can stay in front of Mamu going to the rim. He just has a very complete offensive game for a big.
Yeah.
This is not like something that you can get every day. There's not a lot of guys who are 6'9", 6'10", and like he isn't center size, but he's big. Like he's a big guy that can dribble the ball, handle with both hands, drive into the paint, make layups, make contested layups. Like a lot of his shots are difficult. These are not easy layups, but he's a good athlete and he's big. And so he can finish pretty well. And that's not even counting his shooting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he can carry a 260-pound man on his back for 15 seconds so he doesn't wipe out. Yeah, and it was very kind of him to not just dump Lou on his butt, because that was a dangerous play for Dort. But I think we haven't seen that since last year, where the one guy took a ride on, I think it was Jalen Duren or something. Somebody was basically piggybacking on him. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, Dort is... Mamu is he's like a really good Euro big. Like he's very European style. Not so much like the back to the basket kind of American post big. And it fits perfectly with what Darko was going for, right? So it's just a marriage made in heaven, really. Like
it works really well with, like, I think everybody has been talking about like, well, Scotty needs a stretch big. Scotty needs a stretch big. That was what people were talking about for seasons, right?
Yeah.
It turns out that Mamu is big enough that Scotty can be the center, basically.
Yeah.
Like he as long as he has enough help, we've seen over the past couple of days, Scotty is holding it down in the middle. Yeah. And then you've got this guy who's 6'9", who can hit shots on the perimeter, space it out for him, and also do a lot of other stuff too. Like the guy he's not a center and he doesn't provide the rim protection or rebounding that a true center does, but he's trying. Like the guy is not, he's got a decent motor and he's got decent, like spatial awareness and understanding how plays develop, where he's in the right spot a lot of the time. It just comes down to the fact that he's not like physically able to alter the shot like some of the larger centers in the league, but he is trying. And I think like if you look at all of the impact metrics, they say this guy is like the best on-off guy on the team is Mamu. because he just fits into every lineup, and the Raptors love the spacing that he provides, and all the stuff that he's doing on the court is like pretty valuable. Like he's been really good, and they should probably try and keep him.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the new direction of players that they're chasing, and I don't know if this is conscious or if it's just whatever, but it's just smart basketball players, just the smartest possible, most aware, high IQ players possible.
Sabonis.
Yes, but CMB, Mamu.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying we're actually like building these players who it's like, as much as you like, we got to get some spacing around Scotty blah, blah. It's like, well, you need a bunch of players that match his basketball IQ, that are filling the right spots, that see him at the right time. Like you've got Shed, who's a great court mapper. You've got like they're adding a lot of RJ, very smart cutter. Like you've got a lot of smart basketball players on this team, and I think that might really be the secret to build around somebody like Scotty. Obviously, 3-point shots need to be hit and stuff like that, right? But the higher the average IQ, like basketball IQ on the team is, I think it works because they're trying to anticipate, like he wants to throw you the pass where you're gonna be.
Yeah. And you got to get to the place where he wants you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like you have to be active around him. And that's part of the reason that like they were winning games when they were struggling to shoot. Like it would be a death knell for another team where it's like you shoot 15% from three, you're going to lose the game. Like there's just no way for a lot of teams to win if they shoot that poorly. The Raptors are always trying to create looks at the basket. That's what they are trying to do. Obviously the fast break makes that easy. But even in the half court, when Scotty is trying to connect, you got to move around him. Sorry for hitting the mic, but you got to cycle around. You got to move in and out. You have to go around screens. You basically have to give him options like a quarterback, and you're running routes for him. He's standing in the pocket because he's just so big. You know what I mean? He's looking over the defense, and he's finding the best option to try and do it. It's very Jokic-like, and I know that Jokic is a tier above Scotty at the moment, but that's the idea, is that you give these big guys who can see over the defense the ability to hit whoever they feel like. And
that's like the best optimization of somebody like Ochai is those baseline cuts for those, because he can pop and he can dunk, right? And whenever he can do that, and because honestly, he doesn't really need to be respected at the corner three. So when he can catch a person sleeping and baseline cut, they've got enough passers on this team who can hit him. Same with Jacoby. He's very good at those kind of sneaky back cuts.
Yep.
That's exactly what seems to work for this team. Yeah.
It's the kind of like the on-ball and off-ball players, like the players who get to have the ball and the players who move off of the ball. Like the offensive system conceptually, just as a basketball system, makes a lot of sense. And you can tell why Darko was so excited about having Scotty Barnes. Like, you know, obviously Siakam is a very good player and he can also do a lot of the things that Scotty can, but Scotty's like superpower. Yeah. And what makes him such an exciting player is his court mapping and ability to find his teammates like a point guard. And it makes it so much easier when your star player is like that, because they don't have to justify having the ball. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players who are good at playmaking, but they're just not good enough to be the number one kind of guy who can demand the ball from somebody who's such a like maybe there's another scorer on the team, et cetera, et cetera. He's good enough that when he has the ball in his hands, everybody falls in line. They are trying to do what is necessary to make his life easier. Move around screens, flare out and hit a shot. You know what I mean? Like things are looking like clockwork. And they're manufacturing buckets within the offense, which is just so pleasant to watch as a basketball fan. Yeah. Like watching Nick Nurse's offensive scheme, like paint drying, just everybody standing still. Like it's Siakam ISO. Like it's just not as entertaining to watch. And so, I mean, I don't even know what point we're on here. I think we went from Mamu to just talking
just the joy of basketball. But it's, like it's as a basketball fan, there was a lot of like talking about how they could revolutionize their offensive system and blah, blah, blah. And then there's so much doubt of like, oh, they bring in somebody like Ingram and it's just going to become ISO ball. And it's like, no, No, actually, he is able to obviously operate, hit his shots, draw doubles, and the ball keeps moving. They're not trying to use him like Jalen Brunson, or the way that the Knicks have tried to run their offense, which is very heliocentric. The Raptors
a lot of ball pounding.
Yeah, the Raptors are opposite. The Raptors are it's communistic. Everybody gets a touch, right?
And I think like to expand upon your point with Brandon Ingram, I would say that like one of the weaknesses of his game is his handle going against a set defense. And it's good enough that he can get into his moves. Don't get me wrong, but I would prefer like for him to cut that part out so that if he catches the ball, just ready to go, rather than having to set it up with a couple dribbles or something like that. He looks so much better.
Yeah.
And this offense is capitalizing on that and making him be the finisher, just like the guy who catches the ball and 2 dribbles or like 1 post move or like 1 drive, and he's either passing the ball or scoring. And it definitely suits his game. And I can see why he bought into it, because the guy is getting enough shot attempts. Like it's lower than he did on the other teams, but this is also a better team than any of the other teams that he was playing on. This is just a better team than any of his Oklahoma City, his New Orleans Pelicans teams were. Deeper, better coached with like more, like if you get into a system and you take like a slightly smaller role, like in a movie, you would rather be in a good movie, take the third lead or something and be recognized by a bunch of people as like a great actor, you know what I mean, than star in some rinky dink, straight to video release.
Yeah.
So he's getting to do that. He's getting to be one of the leads in this production, but at the same time, he fits within the scheme of it so that it doesn't look unnatural. And I think that's a credit to him. I think that's a credit to the coaching staff, obviously, as well.
Yeah, full buy-in on the defensive end as well. We've raved for weeks about his help defense around the rim, his rim protection, and he's really stepped up defensively because there's more buy-in, because it's a better team, because his co-star plays defense. Like, I can't imagine what it's like going from your co-star being Zion, which I'm sure as a human, fine, but from Zion to somebody like Scotty or somebody who takes the game as seriously as RJ or IQ, like there's obviously kind of more willing to buy in because everyone around you's buying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And his attitude, like we can get into the psychology of it too. We can give you the armchair psychology. I think his attitude and what he wants to do, I think he just wants to play basketball and he wants to be around a bunch of guys that he likes, and he wants to win.
Yeah.
And I think that the Raptors are providing those things to him. And obviously he's providing his services. So it's a good match.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about the game that is going to happen tomorrow? Because this is a consequential game. This is a big one. There is a game against the New York Knicks. And if you haven't been following their season, this is not the same Knicks that beat the crap out of the Raptors pretty much for the past 3 seasons. They look rough. They don't look good. Let's just take a look at their record real quick here. Hold on, I'll bring it up. They look horrible.
Yeah, and this is like, especially compared to expectations, right? Like this is kind of their ideal window, right? Like, oh, the weak East, can the Knicks do it now, right? Because they're pretty bought into this core. They're pretty bought into Mikal Bridges. They're pretty bought into Cat, right? As much as they're still looking around at guys like Giannis and stuff like that, right? But they're pretty bought into this team, and I think pundits had them way ahead of where they are right now, at least production-wise and record-wise.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the whole thing about them is that they're based around Jalen Brunson and to a lesser extent, Cat.
Yeah.
And it seems like we were just talking about how great the vibes are in Toronto. It seems like there's like a big problem with the Villanova versus the other guys thing going on there. Cause as like, if you've been following them at all, like they have a whole bunch of Villanova guys on their team. And it just seems like Cat is the odd man out there.
Yeah.
And they just they're not digging the Cat experience, because he is a big that does not play very good defense. And he's very loud and I could easily see getting annoyed with a guy like that. And I think that it's just reached the point where everybody there is just kind of a little sick of him.
When Knicks fans start to turn on you.
Oh yeah.
And exactly, like, the Knicks mentality, like they don't really tolerate any softness, and not the Cat. It's oversold, like his softness kind of stuff, but I do think that they've already condemned him on that. They've already like, nah, you're not one of us.
Yeah, there is the New York sort of machismo where you got to be tough to live in New York. And listen, I get it, but the thing about Cat is like, as you said, I don't think he's like mentally not tough. I think he's got a lot of confidence, and he has stepped up in the playoffs. He's had some big playoff series. The one against Denver, he looked like a star in that one.
Yep.
He had a good series against Detroit. Like, he's been good for them in the playoffs. But this season, especially under Mike Brown, like that is another guy that they are getting sick of there. The defense has looked like dog crap. Like, it has been bad, and they're no longer a team that can really support Karl Anthony Towns being just a complete ghost on the defensive end around the basket. So there's a big thing there. Like, I am setting up the Raptors for the most monumental fail tomorrow, because I am going on.
Is it
and
tomorrow?
on
Or is it?
It's on Wednesday. Oh wait, it's Monday today. Oh God.
So not tomorrow, Wednesday, but yes.
Wednesday, yes.
But no, but I'm like also very invested in Cat's downfall currently, because I really want Ingram to get that other all-star spot, and the further that Cat falls off and the further the Knicks fall down, the more likely that seems, right? So yeah.
I mean, Brunson's a lock. Like, the guy is bulletproof in his all-star credentials. But yeah, for sure, Cat. I mean, he I don't know. Like, there's been negativity surrounding him in the past. He is not a guy who is immune to criticism in the press. They went after him like after they flamed out in the playoffs a bunch of times before they got Gobert. And this season, it's kind of reminding me a little bit of those seasons where on the T-Wolves, where things were looking kind of dysfunctional, and he was one of the causes of that.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how hard it is to build around a center that doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
I know I advocated for trading for this guy, but yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Jokic is the only guy that has proven that he can win a championship with, crappy defense at center. Maybe Dirk, if you want to count him as a center, even though I think he was mostly a power forward. But
yeah. But then when you look at like the makeup of the Knicks, they have a center who doesn't play defense, and then they have, as Donkey says in the chat here, as Becky Hammond said years ago, that you can't win with a small point guard as your like mainly number one option,
unless you're Steph.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, but Jalen Brunson has not disproved that yet.
Yeah,
he obviously performs excellent in the playoffs, but the pressure continues to be on this rendition and stuff of the Knicks. And I think it's fun that losing to us could send their fan base into a tailspin.
They're so used to beating the Raptors.
Exactly.
And they've fallen below the Toronto Raptors. This could break their brains.
It would be great.
I love when New York sports fans, sorry, Mayor Mamdani, I love it when they get disappointed. They're
so passionate,
always
right?
warms my heart. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's rivalry, it's sports, but it always makes me feel good when a New York team loses to the Toronto Raptors or the Blue Jays,
Yep.
But yeah, tomorrow, geez, I'm still saying it. Wednesday, that will be one to keep an eye on. It is possible, like they've won their past 2 games, so it's not like they're totally tail spinning, but one of them was against the Brooklyn Nets, who have been, man, we could go into how bad they've been recently. They are
20 games under 500. They just lost their last 5 in a row, I think.
But like the way they're losing by like 50 points and stuff. It's like they're getting obliterated. And also, so the Knicks beating them is not too impressive, although they did beat the Sixers. And, so we'll have to see tomorrow.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that one. I can't wait.
Just sleep through all of tomorrow, and then it'll be tomorrow for you.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. I mean, there's not a lot else to do with all the snow.
Yeah.
There's a couple more things. Yeah, go ahead.
Shall we talk Rising Stars results?
Hey, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, I mean, they named the Rising Star selections for the 3 teams, the rookie, the sophomore, and the G League. And Elijah Martin got named for the G League, and Colin Murray Boyles got named for the rookie. No shed on the sophomore. That sucks. Yeah. But when you look at that sophomore roster, it's actually pretty decent from that draft. There's actually a lot of good players that have come up as role players from what was supposed to be such a terrible draft.
Yeah.
Like I can't argue so much with him over certain players because a lot of those guys have had great seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. It's shaking out to be like an actually pretty decent draft.
Yeah.
Not Keontae George, but
Keyshawn George.
He has been really good. Alex Sarr has looked like he should have been the number 1 overall pick. Like he was number 1 for like the majority of the rumor season.
I said at the time, I said, don't overthink it. Just take Sarr.
Yeah. And he's like
French.
7 feet tall and he can, well, they're both French.
Oh, right.
But yeah. So, I mean, he can, he can dribble.
Yeah.
He tried to shoot. He's
Good
been doing
defender.
A little better there. Great rim defender. Yeah. It just made no sense to take Riza Shea.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch the Rising Stars game as much as you can be to be excited about watching an all-star game.
Yeah.
They're never play any defense, but maybe, I mean,
Colin
CMB, he's going to be going nuts on those guys.
That's right. The same way that Scotty was in his Rising Stars. He was active on the glass. He was playing some defense, right? And it's really nice for Colin to get honored with that because he's really been having such a good last couple of months and sliding into the starting lineup.
And this is a tough class. This is a tough class to get into.
It's a really good class. Yeah. Yeah. The 10 players that were selected, 8 of them were from the top 10. And then it was, of course, Derek Queen and Cedric Coward, right? So I think it was no Ace Bailey and no Malawach, who hasn't really got much of a shake.
The bullet that the Raptors were able to dodge in that draft.
Oh yeah, right?
I thought they were going to draft him, but
I really thought so too.
Better decision.
Yeah.
And I'm this draft class has been insane. Like as you said, 8 of the 10 from the top 10. Like the scouting is getting better these days. Scouting is getting better these days. And this was a special draft, like Con Knippel, Cooper Flagg,
VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper hasn't been as good as I thought he would be, but man, there have been so many. Even Trey Johnson has started to light it up.
Great shooter.
Yeah, and I mean, Fears is playing like, I think that they did a stat where they showed like the defense when Fears and Queen are on the floor, and it's like the worst. It's like 150 points hilarious. Given up or something.
Even Herb Jones can't save them.
No. So I'm really proud that CMB was able to get on there. And his like gaudy sort of rebounding stats, like does he lead? No, he doesn't lead the class in rebounding, but he's like, he is like super, super, super good at getting those rebounding stats. And for a lot of people, that makes a difference, especially if you're considered a big. They're going to be looking at those stats. And if you don't have enough rebounds, there's some people who just don't even want to look at you. So glad he's on there. One last thing before we go. we should address the Jakob Poeltl situation, because there has been a development that happened recently and has been reported on, is that Jakob Poeltl is going to see a specialist to look at his back.
Mhm.
And I am obviously like, that's news. I don't know whether you can say it's good news or bad news, because we don't know what the condition is. But my question is, like, should this have happened like a couple of months ago?
I know. I don't know why it was undersold severity wise. Like maybe he was just trying to
Yeah.
tough it out or something. But like they've got a good training staff. They've got a good they would have done imaging and treatments and all this stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. I really feel for Yak, because if you've ever injured your back, like
Yeah.
you know that it's just absolute hell. Like you can't do almost anything without it hurting. And like even just thinking like long-term health and stuff for him, really hope
Yeah.
that the specialist can help and everything, let alone getting him like fit to play. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because he's a good dude.
very much so, right? And like he's obviously not the way that people thought that Ben Simmons was milking it, right? Like you have no thought that Yak would be trying not to get back to play, because
Malingering.
exactly, yeah, he just wants to play. And so hopefully, I mean, they figure it out and it's something that can be treated, because they've tried the resting thing, and if it's not getting better, is it a
Yeah.
treatment thing? And like, what does that mean for his future with the Raptors? What does it mean for his future in the league and tradability and all that stuff? I
His
mean, like,
contract. There's injury
yeah,
exceptions that teams can get
mhm,
when players have been injured for long enough.
yep,
So, that's one thing. And it really makes it intriguing. Like, are they going to wait for the diagnosis
mhm,
before dealing him? Or are
yeah.
they going to just pull the trigger, bite the bullet, and send him out before they know exactly what's happening?
Well, I mean, he'd have to have some kind of physical, right?
He
Like
would
he'd
have to
have
have a
to,
physical, but sometimes the receiving team can waive the
right,
physical,
right.
because if they're doing it, say if the Raptors are sending out draft picks
Mhm,
or whatnot,
yeah.
the team that's receiving can waive the physical. So
Yeah, like if they like flipped them to like Utah with picks for Nurkic or something like that,
yeah,
I don't think Utah would care. They'd say, yeah, sure, we're still tanking for the next 8 years, so bring him in.
yeah. So we'll have to see. We'll wait for an update on that, and we'll give you our thoughts. But yeah, we're on cloud nine right now. Raptors 4-game winning streak, and I think that they are kind of out in front of where they were before, when it seemed like they needed to make a trade just to
Mhm,
salvage the season.
mhm,
That doesn't seem like where they're at right now. And so I think that the chances that they do like a huge like draft pick laden deal
yeah.
where they send out these big contracts and get like a star or a star, I think those are a little less likely now, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
Anything can happen.
Garrett Temple spoke to it, honorary front office and coach. He said that like they have to be wary of like not messing up what is working. Like, so you have to bring in somebody that fits and doesn't shake up stuff too much. So it makes it sound a lot more like it's like you go get Goga Batazde, or you go
Yeah.
get like Nick
Nick Richards.
Richards,
Yeah.
or even like Daron Sharp, depending, right? I
Mhm.
think they're still
Jay Huff.
yep.
One of the like, they could help you a little bit in a
Mhm,
certain matchup, or if you need a little bit of extra rebounding or rim protection,
yeah.
but
But
it's not.
franchise changing? No.
No, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Smaller deal. I think that might
Mhm.
be the recipe here. And honestly, with the way that they're playing right now, and I'm sure that we're just one. Like, it's these guys are living to make us look silly, because as soon as we mention this, they're going to go on like a 4-game losing streak
Yeah.
and look like they need to blow the whole team up. But I'm optimistic. I'm not going to let that part of myself talk me into talking myself out of the takes that I just gave. So in any case, that is the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We will be doing another one next week, probably same time and same bat channel. We'd like to, follow Steve if you haven't already on Twitter. Follow him on YouTube, Raptors Shack on both of those. Also, join the Discord if you haven't already. Put a link in the description there. We're always looking for new people to join. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Raptors Report, your source for in-depth Raptors content.